Hello, my fellow Brotendos. Welcome to Blender. Let's full screen this bad boy. All right. So I downloaded some buildings from Tokyo. Now we're just separating them into their different groups. I have Miami over there, Tokyo over here, and for those of you wondering what I'm doing, just watch. Just be quiet and watch. Um, this is one way that you'll be able to create cities very efficiently. So just shut the fuck up and sit back, relax, grab a joint, grab some coffee. This is gonna take a hot minute. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll actually learn what it is to actually make a city like from scratch. We're gonna create a completely unique cyberpunk city using these two assets. Uh, I'm gonna do more of this, but so far what we have is Miami and Tokyo. So that's what I'm gonna be using. I'm gonna move this around. Pop, 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 pop. So these are smaller buildings back here. So these are actually gonna go in the back. We're just picking out the tall buildings right now. So wait, these can also go in the back. And these can also go towards the back. And so can this. This building's actually supposed to be something else, but because we pulled this from a map, the building doesn't actually look how it's supposed to, so we're just gonna delete that. Go ahead and keep moving. This building's pretty funky, so I did download all these buildings from Tokyo. And what I mean by download is I went to the actual map. And I was able to almost take a picture of the area, and it makes I guess a bump map or something using AI. It's a free Blender add-on. It's called OSM. Really recommend it if you want to make blocks like this for buildings. Really good stuff. Really easy to get started. As you can see, there's a river back there that actually got printed on OSM as well. All this stuff is printed on OSM. So you hit select. It brings you to this website. And then from here, you pick a part of the world that you want to print. Remember, the world's huge, so you don't want to go ahead and do this. You want to more or less go, and you'll see what I'm saying in a little bit. I'll do it, but it's a really good piece of software for Blender. It allows you to get buildings done in a way where you don't have to create the buildings from scratch, and you don't have to spend time on the fine details of the building. I mean, from this point, this is basically a building blocks where we can jump off into creating more details on this building. But because we're building a city, guys, let's remember there's going to be some stuff close to you in the city, and then there's going to be stuff that's really far away. And do you want to spend a lot of time on buildings that are going to be really far away from the camera? Or do you want to spend more time on the buildings that are closer to the camera? And my guess is you want to spend time on the building that's closest to the camera. And if that's the case, these are the perfect building blocks to assign which building's going to be close and which building's going to be far, and in the fastest way possible. There's no faster way of getting this job done here, because this completes your layout for your scene. In a matter of minutes, you can get this done, and you can either, print out an actual piece of city and use that for your render, or you can do what we're doing. And we're just going to create our own using buildings that we downloaded from the internet. So these are all smaller buildings. We're going to go ahead and put a second group here. But I'd say that we're about done with the high-rise building. So we're going to move this back a little. We're going to duplicate this. Make this a little smaller. Rename that to high-rise. Perfect. And just for, you want to go ahead and open up this panel over here and click on text, all the text that you have laid out. You won't click it. And there you go. Now you won't click the text that you've written. As you can see in Miami, I have the high rises separated from the mid rises, and then the smaller buildings are back there. So similar thing we have to translate over here. Always remember to transform on the Y and the X axis and not the Z, because then you'll mess up all of the orientation that the buildings have. Because if you look, they're all leveled out. So if you move things around in this way, then you're gonna unlevel the building, and then you're gonna be screwed at the end of the day. So that's no bueno. All right, let's pull out this last piece of text here. Let's duplicate this. Mid-rise. Okay. Now we're going to put the buildings that are smaller in this section. That would include this, and these are all authentic Japanese building structures. We're going to compare the difference between Miami and Tokyo in a second. But these are all Japanese infrastructure that was built back in the 1980s, back when Korean Japanese pop was hot in Japan. There was so much money in Japan, they didn't know what to do with it. There was so much money coming in, they were rich. They were fucking filthy rich in Japan. Bunch of filthy rich Japanese people singing karaoke in the middle of the night, getting drunk on sake. Those were the times, man. Those were the motherfucking times. I hear that like some places in Japan now are like crime ridden, and like it's dangerous. Like you'll get stabbed and shit, but it's not as dangerous as the United States, of course. The United States, you'll get shot. But in Tokyo, I hear there's a lot of knife attacks, and people just don't care there. They just go about their business. Even if a dude's getting his face eaten on the subway, they won't even look in your direction. They pretend like nothing's going on. But really, everything's going on. And that's when they're wrong. These are all buildings that you'll be able to use later on, and we're making a kit bash of it so we can come back to this and reuse this for different scenes that we can make throughout our show or whatever we're trying to make here. If you just want to make photos, this is a perfect way of getting your buildings integrated. I don't want to do photorealism. I want to do animated stuff. So these are buildings. I want to make animated buildings. Here it is. I'm going to try to capture all walks of living in a dense urban population and really capture that in a way that feels authentic and real. These are smaller buildings. These are going to be the lowlands. Separate these back here. Delete that. What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. Delete that. There's smaller buildings back here. And you see how like you'll start to group everything together. Oh Jesus. Oh shit. You start to group everything together fairly easily in Blender. Start to make room for stuff. Keep that over here. These little. This is a whole like city block right there. That right there, that could be a whole city block, and it's just a bunch of cubes laid out. And like when you start Blender, you don't realize that a whole entire city block is just a bunch of cubes laid out like that. And you start from those principles, and then you move on to putting in the detail. But at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of cubes, man. This is a whole, strip mall right here. That's a whole entire strip mall. And all you got to do is you got to zoom in, and now let's use our imagination. Freaking here, pull out the grease pencil, right? You just got to use your imagination. Let's pretend there's a window there and another window there, right? And then there's an entryway there, and then there's a bunch of windows up here, right? And maybe there's one of those things that you put like that, an awning right there, right? And then maybe there's like a table with a few chairs lining that way. And then there's a whole street going this way, and then you got your telephone poles laid out. This is a whole strip, city strip. Oh, jeez, that's where all my lines went. Delete, delete. How do I delete all this stuff? Yeah, okay. Okay, I could draw from out here. Um, put these buildings together. All right, we have 0 viewers. Fantastic. All right, now the last thing we have to do is clear all these parents. You see all these lines here? I want to clear those. Clear parents, keep transformation. Okay. And parents are all here. Bye bye, parents. Oh, something happened. Oh well. Delete the roads. Clean. No, I'm streaming on YouTube. No one's watching. Teaching people how to make a city and blend. I got my buildings from Miami, and I got buildings from, but I'm all neat. And I got this cool river back here. I can create a city around this river. The weather, babe. Okay, so there's one way to make these. It's a whole kit bash that I made. Bunch of different buildings I can select from. Downloaded them all. Program that lets I did Tokyo and pulled the buildings out of the map. Laid them all out here. I guess that's and they're all independent. Select whichever one project. Drag and drop these buildings in. But you can give them more detail. One way to do that, thing like this, work plan, because working like a scale it up, try to like align. Go into edit mode, start adding floors to it. That right. But the buildings.
Yeah.
I have this thing. Yeah, no, we have technology, so we keep adding here. So adding floor, add floors all the way to the top. That's pretty much like your building, and all you have to do is mix these buildings together with texture. Look like an actual building. The best part about this is if you want this close to you, you can put windows on it. So say, okay, well, I want this building close to the camera. I don't just want it to look like shit. Okay, well, delete that, right? But now we know that the building needs to fall. Bevel modifier. The building looks sexier for some reason. It's the edit mode. Literally put add a window. Add a window. Depth. How many windows you have? Okay, it's a big building. A lot of windows. And so you're like, okay, well, I like the way that looks. Like all of these. Add windows. All of those. Yeah. If I wanted to fill in the window, give it a material. You know, gives this a material. Yeah. Over here, I could assign new material. Gives me a window material, and then boom, there you go. Building. And so let's say like, okay, well this is the building that's closest to my camera, right? The rest of the buildings, it doesn't matter how detailed they are. You just need to give them a good enough texture. That's what I want to tell everyone on my stream. Give the buildings a good enough texture from all the way back there. Give them a good building texture. And what I mean by that, come here. I have Blender kit. You know, I pay $5 a month. Just put build texture text. Get like this basic one. Add that to your building, and a second, these textures take forever to load in. Coming from the internet. might be too. Here we go. Or oh, 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 something like that. You have that far away, and it doesn't even matter. Yeah. So what you want to focus on your detail is this building right here. So you make this look nice. That one back there, you know, with the power of depth of field, you give your camera a depth of field, it blurs out the background. You don't need to worry about too much detail in the background, which makes these buildings here great to have as an asset because these are the building blocks. Jump off into something really epic. Texture hasn't even popped in. Takes a while to load. 0 viewers, man. No one's watching.
Number one.
I'm unloading. Oh shit, it's really loading. Hang on. There we are. So I already got ahead of the game. All these are pretty much low poly, and I just added different textures. It just takes a while because the texture needs to wrap around this giant map. When I say this is a giant map, this is a giant map. This is a whole chunk of New York City. If I drove around this, it would feel like a GTA game. Minus the graphics. But if we camera. Come on, dude. Oh, catch that.